Five, four, three, two, one.
Welcome. You are listening to Seth Mindcast.
Hello and welcome, G's, to the all-new episode of Seth Mindcast. And let's find out how Tate speaks so well and how we can improve on speaking well as well like him. So he's got certain points he was making. I've watched his video like 3 to 4 times now, and we're going to watch it again and again and again till we know exactly what we've got out of this. And I'll teach you today on how to get things out of a video, which is a take home for you, right? So without further ado, let's get into the episode. I'm actually looking into learning something today as well. So if I do this every day, I'm learning something. I expect the same from you. And without further ado, let's go ahead and see what we can learn from here.
How did they say you get perfect? Practice. But that's a lie. And you know why it's a lie? Because everyone says I'm an amazing speaker, but we've all been speaking our whole lives.
Okay, one quote comes to my mind, which is, practice makes man perfect. It's an incomplete sentence, I feel, after I have listened to this, right? He says it's a lie. Okay, so you kind of realize that whoever you're listening to, right, you don't agree 100% to everything he says, but then you analyze for yourself what is good for you, and then you take that in, and the rest you can leave it aside. All right, so your mind is designed that way. It's very automatic. You don't have to put any efforts in this, but you only take what you really feel resonates with you. All right, so practice makes man perfect is a lie. That's what he says. But then is there anything else he has to say off this? Let's go and find out.
Most of you have been speaking you've been speaking longer than me. So why am I better? What's the difference?
Okay, so when everybody says that Tate speaks better than everybody else, but he has a point saying you speak every day and you've been speaking longer than me, whoever is older than him, and you speak every day. So why aren't you a master? Because, speaking every day, repetition is practice. And if you have practiced it that way, then why aren't you expert like me? Right? He has a point. Good one. 100 points to that one.
I watch myself. Feedback. Study. If you don't study, you won't get better. I'll give you an example.
Wait, before that example, there's something. I told you it was incomplete. Practice makes man perfect with feedback. So, you have to find out. If you see, communication is what you require if you're in business. Communication is what you require if you're in a call center. Communication is all you require if you're in a sales team. Communication is all you require if you are a CEO. Communication is all you require if you're dating. Communication is required everywhere. That's the reason we speak, right? So you need to figure out a way where you can communicate and then put it down somewhere. Like me, I put it here, and then I come back to my video and I go reruns on them. Amazing. I go reruns on them and find out if I'm stumbling, find out if or ahs exist, find out if I was not confident, find out if my vocabulary was wrong, and then try to replace that. So that's how I'm kind of making my speech and my English speaking skills, communication skills, to elevate to a new level of people who will understand that. Boom.
I'm shit at chess, compared to my dad. I hover between 1600 ELO when I'm really mad, like an idiot, and 1800 ELO in Blitz. I play 3-minute Blitz games. I've been between 1600 and 1800 ELO for about 8 years, even though I play chess for a half an hour a day. I never get better. Why? Because I never analyze the games. When my dad would train me, we'd sit down and do the boring
You see that? Do you see that? Did I just point out something to you? If you've been watching all my videos, you'll know that I focus a lot on the boring part, right? Why Chris Williamson, Alex Hormozi, now Andrew Tate, why are they all focusing on the boring part? Because that's important. You'll have to do, you like it or not. I have to make these videos. I have to make this appealing. I have to have my goal associated with this and put it across to you that you understand, and you should realize that it's there in the video, and then pile everything up and then post it for you to see it. So that's the boring part. We need to make the boring part a part of the schedule and enjoy it Yeah, I enjoy it now. I mean, first the learning software was hideous, but after I've learned the software and I started adding one element from everywhere in the video. So the boring part, and now what we're gonna do is, after this video is done, I'm gonna go somewhere and find out if I can add some element of surprise in this, and that elevates my skill as well. So practice makes man perfect with feedback. That's what we are going to take home today. And analyzing the boring parts. So if there's a coach you have and he teaches you cricket all the time and it's 1 year down the lane and you haven't improved your front foot or whatever, is because you're not understanding the feedback from your coach, or your coach is not giving you the feedback for you to understand. Saying you take the step too early, you'll have to take it after the ball is thrown, and then you take the step and go for the front drive, right? So now then when you start acting on that, you'll improve. Otherwise, you're gonna be on the same limbo all year long, 5 years long, 10 years long, till you die.
Analysis. Why? What could you have done? It's to analyze. It's the feedback that makes you better. Why, as a fighter, if you just spar every day, will you never be good? Because you don't train. It's feedback that makes you good at things, not practice. You have to practice, then feedback, always. And communication is one of the most important things because it's something you do every single day, all of the time. If you're going to get good at one thing, you may as well be good at the thing you do most often. You're all talking all the time. So you may as well get good at it. So you have to analyze yourself. That's the reason I said this and ah thing. To make it difficult for you, I understand it's nervous. I understand you're up here and you're talking in front of people and it's nerve-wracking. But you should be going through your life in general, catching yourself doing it and not allowing yourself to do it. Because that feedback, it won't take long. It'll take 3 months until you find a way to just stop saying it. And it's so unique that you don't realize how many people you're speaking to who do it until you stop. It's like saying, have you ever seen a red car and you drive on the road and every car's red?
Do you understand that? So when I was speaking to everybody, I used to do these and ahs before, but I never realized I did it. But till somebody pointed it out to me, saying you do and ahs, right? So most of the people when you're communicating, they don't really realize that they are doing and ahs. Now I was watching Iman Ghazi's video with Matt, I guess, and he had that and ah. And I was so bored because I kind of figured it out, the and ahs, because it was so obvious that I don't have to say it. So Iman doesn't get to say it. And I got really bored with that interview because every time I used to listen to was and ahs. Right? Till you point out to somebody saying you do this, you won't realize. I keep my legs on top of each other and kind of shake the leg. And it's very natural. I don't even know if I do it. But then somebody says, bro, why do you do that? Then I realize that, oh, is that the wrong way to do it? Or am I not supposed to do it? Right? It's all there. It's in front of you. But till somebody points it out, you don't know. Let's get ahead in the video. I'm loving it. I hope you too are.
When I sit and listen to somebody, I'm literally listening to them thinking, fuck, you've been speaking your whole life. You're a dummy. Right? Because I don't do it anymore. So it's a pet peeve of mine almost. But you have to self-analyze yourself all of the time. Don't allow yourself to get away with it when you're not in this environment. It sounds like a small thing, but I'm telling you, when you can compendiously, concisely explain...
Compendiously, concisely. These are the 2 words you need to look up in the dictionary and upgrade your vocabulary. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to come back and do it. And I really want to know what it means. So once you know what it means, later you can use it. And your vocabulary is kind of upgraded, and people who are talking to you with your communication skills, even they'll have to look up the word saying, what the hell is this, right? But the thing about vocabulary is when you have a word like this in your speech or something, it shortens what you're trying to say. So if you really know what that means, you'll understand what he's pointing towards, right? Make sense? Absolutely. It does make sense.
Explain your point of view. When you can do what I do, which is machine gun 5 points at once, especially in a debate, it's very hard to argue against me. If you give me a minute, I've made 5 points and linked it to 2 older points, and I've hinted at a future point. And now you have to counter that. And you're like, you're a misogynist. You can't argue with it. That's why the BBC got wrecked. So you have to be very good. If I was saying on my BBC interview, it would have been over. I could have said the same things with a couple ums and ahs, it would have been over. I'm the worst man in the world. So it's battle, it's war. So I want you to all become very, very good with your speech. Because it's an easy thing. It's not difficult. It's not fighting. You're not getting hit. Stop saying stop saying ah.
How do you structure it?
You need a pause to think.
So somebody asked the question saying, how do you stop amenas? Right? So what he says is there are two things. If you're not confident and your mind is empty, you will do the amenas to think for something and then you speak. Right? So you really don't know what you're speaking about till you get an idea, and that's where the and ah moment is. So once that is done, what you do is you seriously take a pause. You don't say anything. Think about it like Alex Hormozi did in the previous video. He'll sit, he'll think about it, and after thinking, after he's gathered all these thoughts he has, that's when he'll speak, and what comes out is perfect. Or you have a filler word, and I think he'll tell you the filler word as well. You can have many, you can chat GPT your filler word, but this one is kind of nice as well.
So what I will do is I will either literally take a pause and stop. And a lot of that is body language to allow yourself to be given the time to do that. Or the second thing I'll do if I make a mistake is I'll repeat myself. So I'll say something like, there's an example. So I'll say. That sounds better than going, so I'll say, and I know English isn't always your first language. I know for some of you people, I'm not as hard because English isn't your first language. I completely get that. It's also the reason I refuse to speak another language because I speak English so well, but I don't want to degrade. If you want to speak to me,
one thing you need to realize if you're watching Andrew Tate's video, if you like him or not, alright, there's a lot of things to learn from him. You see his body language. His hands are always moving. You know what he means through his body language, through his hand movements, so you don't get really bored about it. He's a natural at it, and people kind of build this up when they have a lot of exposure of speaking and public, speaking and stuff like that. So look at his body language. He's fit. He's not scared that if he sits down, he'll have that, family pack. No, he has 6 packs, right? All built. And then he's speaking to people with all the hand movements and gestures and pronunciations and everything. It becomes really interesting to understand what he's really trying to say.
you speak to me in my language, it's my battlefield, I win. But English is the language of the world, so you may as well get very, very good at it. And it will translate to all of your personal relationships. Your arguments will become shorter. You'll make more money. Everything is from communication. That's why I have a stick, and that's why I have a pet peeve for ums and ahs. Because it's the easiest way to just improve your overall status. Because you also come across extremely confident when you don't use and ah. You look like you know exactly what you're talking about when you don't use and ah. If I say what's 2 plus 2 and you go 4, you look dumb. If I say what's 2 plus 2 and you go 4, you look smart. But makes you look like an idiot. So it's a pet peeve of mine. I just said it's twice. I just did it. So I'm self-analyzing myself all the time to make sure I don't do that. So that's why I've said it before this, to make it hard for all of you who stand up here and you're nervous. You start going, But in general life, try not to do it, because you'll see your life improve. You'll see your interactions with people improve in real time. You'll notice.
Well, full lessons inside the war room. It's kind of great that I am in the real world and I kind of realize and I kind of figure out who some people are. So I really know some of the people who interact in the real world in day-to-day life. And you really need to realize, why am I stammering? There's no reason. Okay, you really need to realize that all these people in the war room paid a price to get inside it, and everybody here, if you see 100 of them, all 100 of them are irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. You'll have to be irreplaceable to be in the war room. You'll have to be exceptional to be in that war room. Everybody's fit. Everybody has network. Everybody has money, and they're building something with that, compound minds all together there, and it's so wonderful. There'll be a day when I'll be in the war room for sure. But in that time, I'll have to make myself irreplaceable. You can make yourself irreplaceable with your friend circle. You can make yourself irreplaceable in your family. You can make yourself irreplaceable in your siblings, right? Be the best you can. Do not change and be 100% authentic for people to just trust you, saying he's a man of his word and I've never seen him fail and he'll never fail. This guy will not fail me. That's what I'm looking for to learning from all these multi-billionaires we're looking at. And that's the whole point of Seth Mindcast being here. So if you're here with me on my early stages, you know there's a lot to achieve, inches achieved, miles to go. But that 1 mile which is done, we'll still be here and we'll still be talking and we'll have stories to speak. The journey of Seth Mindcast. Thank you so much for being in this live, being in this episode with me, and welcome to Seth Mindcast.